In this video, I'm going to analyze KeHE Connect's price list, their supplier price list with all their wholesale goods. There's around 14,000 rows. I'm going to upload a list to Astro Advanced Analytics that has no discounts on it. It's going to go straight up pricing. Let's see how we go. I'm also going to showcase Astro's new features. So it has a new UI, new performance features, a lot of new things that are going to help sellers make faster decisions much more accurately with speed and clarity. So let's jump into it. All right, so let's start off by scanning the actual list. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop it right in there. So this is the list that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the UPC. There's around 14,000 rows in this list, and I'll show you the list in a minute after we start scanning. So let's start matching up the columns. So we have the UPC column that we want to bring in the actual ASIN. We're going to check out we want the price. So the price is the wholesale price per unit. It's right there. The wholesale price is there. So wholesale retail price. We're going to put the item number that's already in there, auto matched. Now, one thing they have that we should also be doing is they have days of life remaining, shelf life, so the expiry date. So I'm going to go ahead and add the shelf life to it as well. I'll add it to the comment section just so we know when the expiry date will be, so we don't buy something that's expiring very soon. So there's some additional data points we can actually add. Let's also add the case pack. And let's see if we can add anything else that's of relevance. Maybe we can also add the size. Size might be a good one as well, because they usually have like the how big it is, how many ounces it is or whatever. We can add the size in there. So let's go ahead and upload this list. Hit upload. While that's loading, it's going to take a few minutes. I'll show you the actual list that we're going over. So this is the list that we're looking at. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you can see there's 14,423 rows in this list. One thing that I did do when I started uploading this list, I came over here to category, and I removed the frozen goods, the refrigerated goods, and the bulk goods, because they're probably not type of stuff that you can actually sell on Amazon. Like frozen, refrigerated, you can't really FBA at. Maybe you can FBM some refrigerated goods if you know how to do that. The bulk goods is not really something that sells that well on Amazon as well. So I removed those. There's around 3,000 units in there that I removed from that. This is the list. It's starting to upload now. You can see that we've already got 6,077 brought into Astro. And you'll probably get from 14,000 units, you'll probably get around 14,000 UPCs will probably bring around 25, maybe 30,000 ASINs. Now, the reason why you get a lot more UPCs or a lot more ASINs than UPCs is because, especially when lists like KeHE, which has a lot of groceries, there's a lot of, a UPC might have a 1-pack version, a 3-pack version, a 6-pack version, a 9-pack version, or a 24-pack version, all these different types of versions. So you get many more results per UPC. So you might have one UPC that could equal 10 ASINs. Then you have a few UPCs that just have an invalid match that don't appear on Amazon. So you get many different types of results. Now, just to show you Astro for a moment. So the UI is much different. So there are two main views when you're looking at Astro. There's the full view, which is what you're looking at now, which is quite similar to previously how it was. Now, what you would see in the full view is you can see the stuff that you saw before, like the hover over features where you can get all these data points, but we also have the remaining data points all appear if you just keep scrolling to the right. Now, there's hundreds of data points per every ASIN that you see here. Now, you don't obviously need to see it all. You need to see the ones that are relevant to you. That's why we have in the front section over here at the front, we have these categories. So the Amazon category section where you hover over and you can see all the data related to Amazon and it's scored. Same for the sales volume category. All the data remain regarding the sales volume rated and scored as well. So you can see all these data points in there in that one section, so you don't have to keep scrolling over to the right, scrolling left and right all the time. Now, data's continuing to enter, so you might see it load just for a bit every now and then until it finishes loading. So this is the full view where you see everything. Now, we also have the compact view where it's a more compact view. You don't have to scroll to the left or to the right. You can see everything in front of you. Obviously, the rows are a bit taller, so you can't see as many ASINs per page, but you can see a lot of data regardless of that. So every row, of course, is an ASIN. and you can expand it and you can see all the data there. So for some people, this might be a lot easier to see and understand. So you have the Amazon section, the sales volume section, the break even, the offers and contenders, and the buy box section. And then you have the ASIN details and your suppliers details here as well. So you can see that as well. If you want to bring up the chart, you just simply click on the chart, brings up the chart. All the chart data is there, the offers, the chart, of course, and some more data here, important data. You can see how much available stock all the sellers have, who's the highest, lowest FBA seller. So you can see this for all that. Of course, you can also see that in full view. You just click on the chart over here to the right, and you can see all the data you need to see. So with Astro, the good thing is you don't have to keep, you don't have to open up 100 tabs on your computer on Chrome to inspect each ASIN individually, which is a nightmare when you're really working with these large price lists. You can see everything that you need to see within Astro, within the platform. You don't have to go away every 5 minutes and look at all these things. That's why the productivity when you're using Astro increases to the max. That's why you can really come up with these large purchase orders with Astro in a fraction of the time considering other tools, because you don't have to go to every single ASIN one by one. And because there are so many data points per row, per ASIN, you can really apply some very, very special filters which get you to the results much faster. So now, so far, this listing is still coming in. We're a few minutes into the video. So that's 5 minutes. We've got 27,000 products after 5 minutes of scanning. So we'll see how many it ends up with. I think it'll probably be between 27, maybe 32,000. We'll see how many rows we have at the end of this. Still bringing in more products, So let's see what's going on. Now, both views are very, very nice and easy to use. I prefer the full view because I think I feel more productive with the full view, but which to each their own, you can do whatever you want. Let's go ahead and start actually, if this is finished, it shows up as finished, but I'm still seeing more ASINs come in. Now, what you can start doing after this is you can start applying some of these filters. Now, if you go to the filters button, just here on the top left, you can see all the Astro strategy filters. So these are preset filters. You just click on it and it can apply the filters, all these filters in front of you instantly. You can just click there, apply filters, and done. If you want to create your own filters, you can of course go ahead and go to My Strategies. You can add your own filter. You can save all the different types of filters that you want. You can apply 10, 15 different filters, and then you can save it and have that as your own strategy. I like using some of these filters, these preset filters, just because it makes things so much faster. Now, for example, we have in the filter section, we have the obvious choices. I like this one. Now, I'll tell you what it does. It removes all the ASINs with IP alerts. So it removes them completely. It removes all the hazmat ASINs. It removes all the ASINs where Amazon is in the buy box. It only looks at offers that has between 1 and 7 FBA offers. So if it's 0 FBA offers, it won't look at it. If it's 8 FBA offers, again, it won't look at it. So it's between basically 2 and 6. Bought in the past month, it looks for products that sell more than 100 units in the past month. It targets ASINs more than 30% ROI and more than $2 profit. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that filter and see how many we're left with from the 30,000. So from the 30,000 ASINs, so many ASINs, there are only 87 that meet that awesome criteria. Now that criteria obviously is real good. We're gonna have to go ahead and look over that and see if it's if they're profitable. We're gonna go and send all those ASINs to a shortlist now. So in the shortlist section, we can also see if we're gated or ungated for those products. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those there. But I can still apply more filters now. That's why, we're not gonna just stop there. So let's go ahead and go back to the filters. And I like doing this one here, low sales and high ROI. So I'm gonna target products that have more than 40% ROI, more than $4 profit, and at least 5 sales per month. Actually, let's up that to 50% profit. So let's go ahead, 50% ROI. So let's see how many meet that criteria. So now we have 603. That's actually quite a lot of ASINs. That's a lot of ASINs to go over to see that meet that criteria. So I might take it a step further and actually increase that criteria. Take it to, let's say, 15 sales per month. So at least 15 sales per month. And, because KeHE is such a large list that so many appeared. So let's go ahead and grab those and add them to our shortlist. And in the shortlist section, we can actually do the analysis that we need to do. All right, cool. So now we got all those in the shortlist. Let's go ahead and head over to the shortlist section. Okay, now in the shortlist section, this is our ASIN right here. Oh, sorry, our shortlist from that supplier list. And what you notice here is that we have our eligibility. We can see which ones we can sell and which ones we can't. That comes in there, and you can see in the compact view, you can see it right there as well. Now, if it says NA, you might have to just refresh the eligibility. It doesn't come in all at once. We get around 250 per minute when it comes to the pulling the eligibility status, and there are quite a few hundred in this list. It's 374, so that might take about a minute and a half to get all that data in here. All right, now that we're pulling all that data, what we can do now is we can filter to either remove the ones that were restricted. You say, this one here needs approval, this one needs restricted. We can either filter to keep the ones that we can sell, or we can filter to look at the ones that need approval, just delete them. So instead of having 374, we're gonna have a lot less. So I'm gonna go ahead and filter them, filter to get them in so I can actually delete them. So I'm gonna click here, go selling restrictions, and say, does not equal can sell. So now the only ASINs that are going to appear in front of me are the ones that are either restricted or are the ones that need approval. And you can see there's 107 of them. So all the remaining I can sell. So these ones I cannot sell. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all those. One click of a button and they're gone. Now it's going to appear empty. We just have to clear our filter and hit apply again. And now we can see all the ASINs that we can sell. Still a few that we haven't gotten their status. Let's go ahead and just click refresh eligibility. That will come in shortly. And let's check out some of these ASINs. Now, a lot of ASINs going to appear super profitable, most likely because we haven't gotten their pack size. So if I click on ROI and sort high to low, you'll see a few that I might have thousands of % ROI. So obviously, here we go, 3,110% ROI. Obviously, we don't have 3,110% ROI. If we did, that would be awesome. But let's go ahead and check out the listing. So this is 6 packs of 10. So that's what we're seeing from this item. So it's a 6 pack of 10. So that means 60 units. So we have to go ahead and type in here 60 units. Because 71 cents is for one. See, now it's no longer profitable. So you're going to see a lot of these where they're no longer profitable after you actually calculate what's going on. This one here, again, same deal, 60 truffles. Each truffle is 81 cents. Let's go ahead and type in 60. So you have to really just go through these and remove all the ones, apply the correct quantity pack and see if you're still profitable with these. So you have to go through all, I'm gonna have to go through all these. This one has a bit of profit, but really not much, 8% profit. You'd want to go back to the supplier and say, hey, can I get a discount on this one? This one here, just looking at the data as well, you can see that the brand is a seller. And you can also see that there's only one FBA offer. So probably not ideal because that one seller, if we go ahead and check it out, you can see that one seller is the actual brand. Did I go to the right one? It was this one right there. So you can see this Ketone IQ, and you can see, yes, it's profitable, but you can see that they're the only seller. Every now and then another seller jumps on, just looking at the chart here, but it's probably not the ideal product. So what you have to do now is you have to pretty much go over all of these and put the correct quantity pack in there, just to make sure that you got the right, you got the right data, you're looking at the right information. Some of them will be profitable, some of them might no longer be profitable after you do this. So this one here is a, what's that? 30 approved, 25. So it's a 25 pack. This one's a 25 pack. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that off camera, and I'll be back once we've done it and we can actually finalize an order. Okay, so that did take around 15 minutes to complete, but there were over 250 products that I had to check the pack on. So it beats going to the listings one by one. All I did was I scrolled this like this, and I'll check it out, and I'll just adjust the pack size of each one. It was very, very simple. Now, note that this list is not a discount list. So there's 0 discounts on this list, and there are still some very profitable ones. So let's go ahead and just do a little sort now from low ROI to high ROI, and you can see that there are all these ones that are losers. So we're going to go ahead and just remove the ones that are a loss, a big loss. So let's go ahead and click on these and just scroll down. Any product that's a loser is going to be gone. So let's keep going down, and there's quite a few. I'm not saying there's no discount on these products. So anything below, let's say 15%, is 15% ROI is gone, and there are quite a few. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. With all that said and done, we have around 21 units that we can actually viably purchase. The pack sizes are all correct and everything's correct in here. Let's just move this alerts over to the far edge so we can see the stuff that we want to look at. So just move that over there. So we can see we can also sell all these products, so we know we don't have to look at the eligibility. So I'm just going to move that over here as well. So let's go back. Now what we're looking at is, here's the quantity. Let's move the quantity that we're buying. We'll just move it over here. Okay, so now we see so we have the sales per month in this column. We have the recommended 30-day buy. So the recommended 30-day buy considers how many buy box contenders there are. So if I was to click on, for example, let's look at this one here. It's got 2 buy box contenders. If you were to look at the chart of this ASIN, you can see what's going on. You can see the buy box and everyone who's a contender, the FBA contenders here. So you see 1 buy box winner and 2 contenders. So you can know exactly what's going on. And it's recommending how many you should be buying considering the contenders. So all that stuff is calculated. So when we want to apply quantity, how many we're going to buy, you can go here and say, hey, throw the recommended quantity across the board, across every single one. I don't want to look at them individually. I just want you to apply that across the board. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply to that. And let's see what the order looks like. So if I do that and I hit apply, I can see that this order will be 1,627 units. That's individual ASIN units, and it will have 2,394 supplier units. Supplier unit is basically calculating the multi-packs as well. So it's the 1 pack and the 2 pack. So if a product was a 12 pack, that means it's 1 ASIN unit and 12 supplier units. So you know how many units you're actually ordering from your supplier. The cost will be $1,200, just over $12,000. The prep will be around $1,000. The total cost, considering prep, will be that much. If there's shipping, if you have shipping in it, just throw in your extras. Like let's say you send this to your supplier and they say, hey, George, it's going to cost you $400 shipping. Just come over here and type in $400. So, and then that calculates against everything else. So I'm just going to remove that for now. Now that's our order. The profit, considering this, is there at, just at 13.5K. So that's this order. It's 100% ROI. So if we're going to go off of this, now, if I had to go individually, like what I'd be looking at right now is I would want to look at all these data points and just say, like, the quantities, are they reasonable? So this one here, we're ordering 200 units. So if I was to say, okay, we're ordering 200 units, is 200 units a reasonable order? Am I ordering too much? So like this one here, let's go ahead and enter it and see, okay, so is 200 reasonable? What am I looking at when I'm looking at this ASIN? There's only one seller, they're FBM, so there's no issue in beating them. We can actually beat them to the buy box. But I see that there's been very little competition in terms of other sellers. So is it reasonable for me to come in and with a high amount of units? Maybe not, but I do think I would approach this specific one 2 ways. I'll drop the order to 120 units. Part 1, but also increase the price, because there's actually, if I have to just beat an FBM seller, there's no problem in me just pricing at $15.99. So at $15.99, my ROI for this ASIN went up to 241%, so much higher than before. Profit per unit is $5.85. I only buy it for $1.93, so there's heaps of profit on this one. So that was kind of worth it. Another one here, 200 units. Is it reasonable for me to buy 200 units of this? Okay, I'm looking at the product. It doesn't signify that it's a multi-pack from the product. So if I open up the listing, I see very bad data here. The data is very off. So here's one of those examples where even though the bought in the past month is all the way at 200, there's actually no BSR. There's no BSR at all. And that's very important. If there's no BSR on the listing, you shouldn't trust the 200. So that one, I'm not going to order a lot of them. I'm going to order just 12 of these. So a lot of times Amazon doesn't track the BSI and just has an empty stat there, and it has a high sales per month. It may actually sell that much, but you don't know until you actually send them in and sell. If there's no BSR stat, just be very careful. Here's another one here with no BSR stat. Now we calculate it to sell at 50. Maybe it just doesn't have a current BSR. So you see, it doesn't have a current BSR, but it does have a 50 bought in the past month. Again, I don't trust that bought in the past month when it says it like that. So I'll just buy 6 or 12. Let's just go ahead and buy 12. There's quite a bit of profit on it. So another one here, we have a BSR 72,000, and we can see that it's had decent movement, 44K in the last 30 days. So this one's a mover. No issue with that one. I see there's 3 FBM sellers, 0 FBA sellers. Okay, that's good to know. That one, I don't have to look at I don't really have to look at the chart much because the data is quite simple. 3 FBM offers, 0 FBA offers, and it looks good. I know it's good because I'm seeing the colors here, the scores. I know instantly that it's a good product. So I will go ahead and buy 100 units of that. That's fine. This one, the recommendation to buy 40. This one, another one, 100. Okay, this is a weird one. It's telling me to buy 100. The bought in the past month is 100. It's only FBM sellers, but the sales rank is all the way at 618,000. That doesn't gel. So let's go ahead and look at that one. What's going on here? So there is no way. This is where you have to be careful. Just look at the chart. You can tell that there's no way this ASIN sells 100 units a month, even though Amazon is telling us it sells 100 units a month. Like the bought in the past month is 100. There's no way this sells 100. Just look at the BSR chart. It doesn't gel. It doesn't make sense. So in this scenario, I would be looking at the drops. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the drops. And I see that it's gotten 37 drops in the last 365. So 37 divided by 12, we're looking at around 3 sales per month. So this is where you need to really be careful with how many units you buy, because sometimes they just don't sell what it's showing. So if I was to buy this one, it's got a lot of ROI. I'll just buy 6 units of this one. You have to keep it real. You have to be real careful with what you're buying. So we started this list with around 14,000 UPC rows, and we ended up getting around 32,000 ASIN rows. Now there's a lot of ASINs, there are a lot of multi-packs. We had to go through them, but within around 30, 45 minutes, we were able to come up with quite a nice order. Now, again, this is a non-discounted price list from KeHE, but we were still able to come up with a $7,800 order on this one with a decent amount of profit. This just shows you that on these larger price lists, if you can either go through them with the conventional methods, it might take you about a week, or you can go through this list using Astro, where it will take between 30 minutes and an hour. You get to the results much faster. You have to obviously inspect it. When you're talking about so many different ASINs that you're looking at, you have to inspect the list very well and understand the units you're purchasing. They have to make sense. And then you have to obviously send it to your supplier to see which ones are available and how much of an order you can actually come up with. Now, a list like KeHE, they're awesome, but if you're not getting discounts on a list like KeHE, it's going to be very hard to really work with them overall, because a lot of people are going to be going after those products, and it's pretty much a first come first serve. So you got to be quick and be able to jump on them. I recommend going for many different suppliers. Try to look for the suppliers that are rare, that not everyone's working with. A list like KeHE or Frontier, everyone knows them. Everyone knows them, and it's very hard to do good business with them. You want to go for some of the more rarer ones, but even with KeHE, if you have a large amount of capital, you can get a lot of things going when working with lists like KeHE. You can get a lot, you can really get the momentum going if you're able to, apply for bigger discounts and get into those discounted tiers. You can actually place some massive orders. So imagine the list that I was working with now. Imagine having 25% discount on that list. Can you imagine how many more ASINs I'd be able to find, and how much of a large order I'd be able to place if I had such a discount? I hope you got value out of this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Join my Telegram group if you want access to me and the group. A lot of guys are in there and they're killing it. If you want to have access to Astro, the link is in the description below. Go ahead and click on that link and get access to Astro. It's a free trial available, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.